Is the album flawed? Yes. It's not perfect by a fucking long shot. Not even, are some of the songs or lines forgettable? Maybe. Are some of the songs great and will last the test of time? Maybe. Is it an enjoyable listen? Fuck yeah. What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of F This Review. And tonight, we're reviewing, finally, this is the only review that actually matters for this album anyway. Everything else is biased and weird. Tonight, I'm reviewing Kanye West and Dolla Sign's album, Vultures 1. We get the first offering of the trilogy that we're getting 3 albums, February, March, and April. I'm gonna just get to the shits, man. Kanye West and Dolla Sign delivered the first installment of the Vultures series on like a late Saturday night. Unusual drop, which is common for Kanye at this point in his career. 16 tracks, little over 50 minutes, 55 minutes. And just first thoughts on this album, man. I feel like it gets better every listen. Like the album to me starts off like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Like we're just in already for the ride. We don't even know what car we're in right now. It just feels like we dropped in the middle of the story. Like I don't think we ever had a Kanye West album start off so on a somber note. Like the keys to my life, it sounds like, oh, we're getting right into the shits. Like with a deep cut. And usually Kanye albums start off on a high note, whether that be Ultralight Beams or Graduation or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy or whatever, besides Say You Will. But like they usually start off in like a more uplifting, upbeat kind of way. And this one just starts off like, poof. To me, it feels like he's talking about Kim. Like, ever since I lost my mom, you was like my foster mom. Hold me like your only son. Hold me like the homies in the shower when they hold their guns. Just lost love and what used to be's and things of that nature. So to have the album start off like that, it kind of takes me back. And that ended up being one of my favorite songs on the album, right? We go into Paid, which is more of an upbeat record with that Jodeci flip and more house driven. One thing about this album that I really do love, on top of everything, is the production. I think the production is the first highlight of the album. Just like with any Kanye album, for real though. Like even he mentioned in the past, like my beats are always gonna be better than my raps. Like if my beats are like Jay-Z level and Scarface level. And I think Paid is one of those things. And I think what Dolla Sign adds to this album is, I think he's like a vessel for Kanye to get off his crazy ideas. What he brings to this album is just like that bridge. Like he brings everything back down to level. Like all his hooks are perfect on this album to me. All his spots he comes in and is just like at the perfect moment. So like even with Paid, I'm just here to get paid. And one thing I didn't expect was, even though they had songs in the past, is that their chemistry was so good. We go into Talking, which was the first, I guess, release from this album that had the video with Northwest and the second half with Dolla Sign. Like I said, I think Kanye uses Dolla Sign as a vessel, right? So in the first half of Talking, you have Northwest, she does her part, right? Which she's a representation to Kanye. And then on the second half, you have Dolla Sign talking about how much he doesn't want to let his daughter down, right? So it works so fucking perfectly, like to have that beginning part with the child and then the second half with the father speaking of like, man, I just don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made. You know, she's just doing the same shit I was doing when I was her age. And once again, the clouds are gathering to release what they held in. Going into Back to Me with that amazing Freddie Gibbs verse. I know it's early in the year, but that's to me contender for top verse of the year. First time we even heard Back to Me, the first time I heard Back to Me, that little snippet of Kanye, I was like, oh, this shit's about to be amazing. And again, Dolla Sign with that, what he brings with the hook. Kanye on his record does what Kanye does. Like I'm pretty sure, and I hear, a lot of people give him flack for just his lyrical performance on this album and just in the latter half of his career. And I thought about it. I was like, this is the sick genius of it all to me. Because he can get the greatest rappers to just create his verses. Like, you know what I mean? If he really wanted to just rappity rap, like he could do it because he has the tools around him that can create that for him. You know what I mean? So it got me to the point I was thinking like, this is like purposely done. the genius of it all is like Freddie verse stands out so much because of what Kanye does. Like, and Kanye part is memorable as well. Like, I think he figured out on songs like Father Stretch My Hands that break it down to the simplest form of shit that you would just remember. Beautiful big titty, butt naked bitches don't fall out the sky. Like quoting the Dogma line, right? I'm not like taking up for him in any way, because I too do miss the lyrical Kanye in a sense. But the more and more I listen to this album, I was like, I get it. Like, it's not about that. Like, this album's not about that. And I seen him post something the other day where he says, like, people want you to make them happy, but this is what makes me happy. And what makes Kanye happy is just being a horny dog. From that song to go into Hood Rat, which that beat is just disgusting. I don't hear people talking about Hood Rat enough. That beat is disgusting. You look like a piece of Hallelujah wrapped up in Have Mercy, Lord. That is sick. And him and 88 Keys did that beat, and that shit is just disgusting. The mixing could be better, of course, but I'm not a stickler on mixing. I'm not a fucking engineer. I hate all these people who listen to music and be like, oh, that's this mixing is just, shut the fuck up. Like, what do you know? Either enjoy the music or not. Like, stop fucking critiquing instruments, you fucking loser. Like, that's like so stupid. Like, if you listen to half the rock songs and shit back in the day, horrible mixing. Like, hip hop in its core essence is horrible mixing as well. like it just is what it is. It's supposed to be dirty. It's supposed to be grimy. All these people who became critics of fucking the mix are just fucking losers to me. But Hood Rat, I love that fucking song. Going to Do It, which is a great fucking club record. I can see that just destroying the clubs. I love that Kanye verse on there. I love Dolla on there. I love the switch where YG comes in and just kills it. Besides that water hose line, I get it. All the hoes love me because I'm a water sign. Hose, water, I get it. But it's like what's that Fabio line from Donda? Met her in church, she my god sister. It's one of those. Paperwork with Quavo. That beat is disgusting as well. Again, I said I think the production carried this. I love Quavo in there. And then I listened to it today. I understood the structure, because Kanye West and Dolla verses are structured pretty much identical to each other. I know I mentioned when the album starts, it feels like you're thrown into a Quentin Tarantino movie. I feel like the album gets like, it has its moments where it gets like really crazy. Like, it goes from Do It, Hood Rat, Do It, Paperwork into Burn. And Burn drops it back down. Like, soon as right before you get too hype, it drops you back down. And Burn is one of those classic, to me, classic Kanye West record. Like, this how I know he does this shit on purpose, because if he wanted to, he would just give us an album full of records like Burn that resembles the old Kanye. I love that when artists do that, because as an artist, you don't make shit for the people, if that makes sense. You make shit that you like, and if the fucking people fuck with it, they fuck with it. If they don't, they don't. Like, you should never let the audience dictate the music that you're making, especially when you're at that caliber. If that was the case, we never would have got a Yeezus. We never would have got an 808s and Heartbreaks. Like, Kanye would have just been making soul fucking chops his whole career. And it's a group of people who would have loved that. But the progression of an artist, like Picasso can't stay in his blue phase his whole career. Going to Fuck Something, which is a fucking banger. Fuck Something is a fucking banger. No pun intended. I don't even know what else to say about that song. It's just a fucking banger. And I remember hearing snippets of that song. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but hearing it mixed, and I'm critiquing the mix now. But hearing it in the album, I was like, oh, this shit is just crazy. Carnival, which is a fan favorite, is a record as to why we love Kanye. Like, it's moments like Carnival that, like, Carnival and Beg Forgiveness. I'm just realizing Beg Forgiveness after Carnival. Both those two records are reasons that we love Kanye. He took Chris Brown in this little piece, like verse and hook from Chris Brown, and transformed it into like this. I thought it was a gospel record, right? But then I realized it's about heartbreak, whether that be from a woman or just from people in your life who broke your heart. Like he says, some of all the parts that you have taken are a fraction of the parts that make me whole. For he was stronger than I was, but his strength he can't sustain. Do not come to give me counsel. You should beg forgiveness of me. What? That's insane. Like, why is nobody talking about this song? Those lyrics, That portion right there is probably the most depth we got on this album. That's poetry. He was stronger than I was, but his strength you can't sustain. Do not come to give me counsel. You should beg forgiveness of me. I'll say this, Kanye kinda ruins that song, like not vocally, but lyrically. It's true to him. It kinda takes away from the severity, the seriousness of the record. Because when Ty Dolla $ign comes back in, and again, that production on there is what makes fucking Kanye a genius, is that you hear that beg forgiveness, beg forgive, and then Ty Dolla $ign, say you want to make amends before I go, now you want to put your heart on the line. I'm still suffocating from your every lie. I've been waking up with murder on my mind. I'm still suffocating from your every lie. I'm still waking up with murder on my mind. His vocal performance on there is just so raw, and you could tell like he could have just redone it, you know what I mean, and made it perfect, but that rawness and the cracking of his voice, it makes the song cinematic, and it makes it what it is. That's the genius of it all. And I hate to take so much time on beg forgiveness, but I just wanted to show how just amazing that record is, and like in the levels of emotion that's represented in that song. We get so like fucking dramatic with that, and then again it brings it back down with Good. Don't Die, which is a song produced by No ID and Kanye, and it sounds like a song that could fit right on 808s and Heartbreaks. It still feels good. And the only thing I wish was like, damn, what if Cudi should have been on this one? Some Cudi hums on here would have been like chef kiss. And then to end the album with Problematic and King, which I think is the perfect two songs, well, King at least. Problematic, I remember we had a glimpse of that. I think that was like the one they previewed like at a Steve Lacy concert. Problematic is like the essence of just boom bap. I love how he ended the album in just a boom bap way, and hopefully that's something to come on the volume 2 or volume 3, because like when you get to King, it's like the perfect outro to me. It's such a Kanye ending. Obviously he's addressing the stuff that he's been going through and the headlines, and for you people out there who don't even understand this, I know some people shouldn't even be listening to rap or just music in general. You should just be losers in your own life. How do you listen to that and not understand that he's talking about headlines and not saying this is me? Right? Like he's been literally fighting to say I'm not crazy, I'm not bipolar, I'm not anti-Semitic. Like he's been fighting with that at least the crazy and bipolar part for the latter half of his career. So why would you think out of the blue he's like, yeah, I am crazy, I am bipolar, I am anti-Semitic? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like you losers are just losers, bro. Like, and learn to listen to music. But I thought it was the perfect way to send off the album. Like, yeah, I got 2 more to go, and this album was fire. After all that's been said and done to me, have taken all this shit away from me, losing my family, losing my wealth, losing my friends, losing everything that I got, and I'm still king. And it's such a slap in the face that all the doubters, you know what I mean? Just as a person overcoming scrutiny and crazy debacles, and it's just a perfect way to end the album to me. And it sets up to me for 2 and 3. Let me get into some of my favorite songs. I'm gonna go with Back to Me, Keys to My Life, and Burn. To wrap this all up, is the album flawed? Yes. It's not perfect by a fucking long shot. Not even. Are some of the songs or lines forgettable? Maybe. Are some of the songs great and will last the test of time? Maybe. Is it an enjoyable listen? Fuck yeah. That's kind of what I like about it. That it's not perfect. That it's not a fucking makeup letter. Like, I think he did that with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like, let me just make the perfect album so they'll love me again. And I feel like with this segment of his life, it's like, fuck y'all, yo. Like, y'all don't really care anyway. So I'm gonna make the music that I wanna make, you know? Like, I'm gonna make the shit that satisfies me, and if you fuck with it, you fuck with it. If you don't, you don't. It's all music anyway. Like, it's not fucking. I see people making think pieces and doing all this weirdo shit. Like, it's just music, bro. Like, either like it or you don't. Like, it's not that serious. And I think that's what I love about it. From HOODRAT to songs like Paid, to Do It, to Paperwork, to Fuck Something. It's like, I just want to make fun music. And I'm kind of glad that he didn't go so far with like explaining in depth of like, I'm sorry and this is how I felt. I'm glad he didn't. Like, just make the music the music. Like, he got thousands of rants. You can look on YouTube if you want to know how he feels. But like, keep the music the music. And I think that's something that kind of hindered like the albums like Donda and Jesus King in a way, because, and fucking like Ye in a way, because it's like what you're talking about is not enjoyable to listen to, like the rants and shit. Like it's jewels in it here and there, but it's not it wouldn't be enjoyable on fucking record. Like, make records that's fucking dope. Make dope records. If the records are dope, they're dope. You know what I mean? And I think having that Mike Tyson piece on here, which is like the perfect skit to have, because it's true. Like, we love Kanye. Like, even if you hate Kanye, you love Kanye. And I always tell people, think of the bigger picture. When Kanye dies, people cry. It's gonna be statues built up. It's gonna, in Chicago, it's gonna be hundreds and hundreds of people, thousands of people shattered. His records are gonna go up and say, like, we know how the end game goes to this life shit. So why even sit here and be angry over somebody's opinion or how they live their life? It's just stupid. With all that being said, I love Vultures. With all that being said, again, it gets better and better every listen. Every listen. It's a flawed thing, and that's art should be flawed. You should be able to look at that painting on the wall and say, that's cool. My kid could do that. No, they can't. But that's what makes art art. It's very polarizing. Either you like it or you don't. Like, that's what makes art art, bro. And the way that we going with music, especially hip hop, it's gonna be dead soon anyway. The way y'all treat it as disposable, the way we treat it as just a disposable thing and a backdrop to my TikTok, that's what it's becoming. So when you get moments like this, whether it be Kanye, whether it be Drake, whether it be Beyonce, whether it be, name them, and the world has to stop and just like tell you how they feel about it, that's when you know you're fucking with a great, right? But what do I know? That's my review on Vultures 1. Let me know in the comments what you think. Give me your top 3 songs that you like off this album. And are you anticipating Vultures 2 and 3? Let me know in the comments. I'm Tatum. Peace.